Hello and welcome to Colouring with Colourful Crafts. Today's video is going to be slightly different. For one thing, I have purchased a copy of Coco Wyo's How to Draw Patterns because I've had a few problems colouring in some of my books, which is mostly probably to do with the fact that I don't really have very good markers at the moment. But I thought I would purchase a copy and have fun and do a little colour along for you to see how I colour and how I might improve things or with using this book, and just a little flip through of it as well for you to see, and then also get to the horrible mess that I made of a page in Little Corner, which kind of prompted me to get the book. But first of all, I shall show you the book itself. So I purchased this just recently. I thought I really needed to know how to colour better, and hope that this will give me a bit of a better idea of how to do things. It's been on my wish list for a while, so I just thought, well, I'll purchase it then that way. So all about this book. Every time we see your artwork, our heart jumps with okay. So that's basically just an introduction. So it's saying here, share your artwork. I think you can, if you're on Instagram and you tag Coco Wyo and Coco Wyo Colouring, they can see what you've done, if that's the kind of thing that you enjoy, or even anything really. I'm just seeing here, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, so I guess any of the social media accounts, so they can just see what you do. And then of course we've got the context. I'm sorry that the desk is so squashed up here. Hopefully you can see this okay. We've got the contents here of all the different textures, window and sky, hair and fur. You get the kind of gist of it. And this was quite an expensive book because I spent about £10 on it. It's quite an expensive book for what it is really, but I think it will be worth it, and I think I'll be able to get some good ideas from it. And today I'm going to implement it and actually show you on camera how I would go about doing the colourings and the way it's addressed. So here we've got tips and tricks. We've got brush markers, fine markers, blender markers, gel pens, acrylic pens, colour pencil, and of course the smudge proof black pen. Well, first thing I can say is well, what I've done in this book is some kind of somehow connected to that, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm good luck if you can find a smudge proof black pen. Sorry, I'm just getting a drink here. Yeah. Okay, let's move that out of the way. So here we are, and then this is how to blend. It's probably best that I have a set of markers really to do this, but I don't. So well, I do, but not the, I guess not the hoo-hoo markers yet, so I might be purchasing them soon. But I've got to get my hair done because my hair's a mess at the moment, so that might be something that I'm gonna have to put on the back burner for now. But I'm sure I can get a similar effect with Sharpies and also with my tricolour Spectrum Noirs that I've got on the side. So anyway, I'm waffling on. So here we have how to do bows and hearts, how to do limes. Oh, I love limes. How to do fish and sea, how to do patchworks. If you can see, you go through every one. It gives you start, mid and finish. And then at the side, a little thing to test out on. This might be a good one for me to do because I had a go with doing a kind of pattern like that, not with the added things, but I'll show you what I did anyway. And a Tiffany lamp, you can practice that, stained glass, that will be good. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so cute. It reminds me of Animal Crossing. I suppose these kind of patterns do, don't they, because they're quite small, and that's good. So I kind of did a similar effect of dripping chocolate on my little sign. If I can show you here. Sorry, I'm waffling on a bit. Where is it? When I did my my bakery, I did a very similar thing there with the dripping. Mine was meant to be dripping chocolate from the donuts, but they've done like dripping icing. I believe that's meant to be, but I kind of did a similar effect there. I think I should have put big, like maybe dark blobs to look like chocolate. I could go back and go over that again maybe. Okay, so that's quite fun. So yeah, you get a mixture of, you get a disco ball. Oh, who doesn't love a disco ball? Come on. Ah, some of the stuff in here is just amazing. Granite. They've put granite. I don't see that as granite. I see that as like an ice. It looks like an ice rink kind of effect to me. But anyway. And then roof tiles, they would also work as scales. You know, maybe you've got a dragon kind of creature and you want to add some scales to him, that would work. Again, some nice patterns here for you to try out. Oh, I love that. That's nice. Scales, wood planks, ocean design. I love this, you know, with the sea foam effect on there. That'd be good. That's a really good one. And we've got Moonlit Lake. We've got bubbles. Oh God, bubbles. Oh, I went wrong on the last one trying to colour in a bubble. It went disastrously wrong. If you look back on that video, you'll find it. Sparkling liquid. That's very cute. All sorts of different things here. All sorts of butterfly wings. Absolutely brilliant. Everything in here. And fur is one thing that I am not good at, so that would be very useful to see what I can do with that. Yeah, so it's just page after page of wonderful things to give you ideas. And then here we have your practice. So they've done a few for you to get the ideas, and then they've left them blank for you to practice. Again, they've done a few, then blank for you to practice, and so on. You can get different effects with the dog, different effects with the shell, Tiffany lamps, cups of tea or cups of lava. That's quite fun. And again, you can go and do your own. So if you want, you could use it for that. And one nice thing about this book is it's got a little test kind of colouring pages at the back. Obviously, you will need your sheet to, as you can see, just as a to absorb all the inks that might leak through. But it's very nice. It's got some really good ones in here. This one would be especially good for if you wanted to have a go at doing the water, you know, with that water effect. If you fancied, I don't know if that was a water effect or just sea foam. I guess you could go with sea foam, couldn't you? But yeah, oh no, this one here is oh no, that's a sunny day. Oh, that would be a good one to try. Anyway, you can do lots of, you could put a sunny day here in the background, and you can try the effect with the grass and everything that's going on there. Oh, donuts. Oh dear. Yeah, it's got amazing things to try out. And then of course a couple of blank pages at the back. So what I thought we'd do is I will get into this and kind of have my own like little test out of a few things I'm going to use and share with you. The page that I've done that really prompted me to do this was from Little Corner. I've just finished this page, which I'm going to show again on Sunday. So the page I just did was this one, and it was really fun. I was having a lot of fun with this, but I got so far, and then I seen someone on, I think it was on an Instagram post. No, not Instagram. Oh, I don't know. It was some post on the internet anyway. And someone had done this lovely checked background in the window, like as as wallpaper, and I tried to follow it, and mine just went completely bad. Like, just, I mean, I don't know how well that's picking up, but it went so badly wrong. And I just absolutely hated it after I did that. And I thought, God, you know what? You need to get yourself a book that will actually teach me how to do these things. So that's why I've kind of prompted myself to purchase this. Well, it prompted me rather to purchase that book. But I'll be showing this page anyway on Sunday. So yeah, stay around for that and check that out. But there will be other pages, obviously, that I have been working on to go along with it. So I shall go and get my page, my blotter page at the back to do. So I think I'll focus on the bigger designs at the front more. A good one to do would probably be the bubbles, I'm thinking. Or shall we not? Or shall we go for something a little bit easier to start off with? We can do a cute mushroom. We can do animal spots. I don't know why snail is there for an animal spot. Surely you'd have a leopard or something. I don't know. A heat lamp. I don't know what a heat lamp is. What's a heat lamp? Please tell me what a heat lamp is. Fur is a very good one to start with, but again, it's on the cat. I might struggle a bit with that. Moonlit sky, forest. Oh, let's do the forest. I don't know about you, but I love forests. I love it when like when the woods all start getting leaves on the trees and it all starts coming out lovely and green, and oh, we're getting to that point soon, aren't we? We're getting into spring, so that'll be really good. So I'm going to do this page on camera, and we're going to do the forest, and then I might do that one. I don't think I'll be clever enough to add the Santa in there. No. Okay. My throat's a bit dry today, so I've got a drink out to take to stop me from getting a dry throat. I'm talking a lot. So, colour the base, let it dry, and draw the tree trunks. So what I'm going to do, they've gone for a very light base. I am going to try and do the same. Now I've got my stack here of, I don't know if you can see them, Tombos, all my Tombos in this cheap little plastic tub. So I'm going to try and go for something that's very similar to what they've done. The only problem is some of these do not come out as well as, like, they come out darker. What I mean, well, you'll see what I mean by that. I've had this experience with these a lot. They come out a lot darker, especially if it's cheaper paper. So I'm going to give you a demonstration here. So you see how that is so much darker than that. This is what I was saying the other week about, there's another pen I was using, and I had a similar thing. It's like the darkness seems to come out a lot darker. I might use that colour for more of the foreground trees or the background trees, but not for the actual, because it needs to be so much lighter than that. And I thought that was, no, that's not going to work. This is where you have to kind of play around with things that you have. But luckily I've got a stack on the side of my lovely tricolours, and then here in my drawer, well, you can't see, but it's just down here, I have lots of Sharpies, which is sadly the only things I have at my disposal today. But I'm gonna try and we're gonna try and see what we can't do. First time I've ever actually recorded anything like this as well. I've got a neon one that might come out quite light. And I've also got these pens, which are like the acrylic, you know, like a paint pen, basically. So I've got plenty of those, so we can do something with those. And I've also got some Staedtler, these highlighters as well, which are quite cheap and inexpensive to mess around with. And that's all it is. It's really just me messing around on camera today. It's not really pre-planned or anything, but we'll see what we can do and see what we can get out of it. I've also got a rather bright Sharpie that might work very well for that. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Now I'm going to use these. I know they've used theirs to kind of represent the colours that they've used, but I'm just going to use them as a quick test. So yeah, that again, you see, because it's quite cheap paper, it comes out very, very dark. This is why I'm thinking the neon colours might be better. That's a neon colour there. And then I've also got this Staedtler bluish, I guess you call it a bluish highlighter. I think that's the one I'm going to go for then. That seems the best. So let's see. I mean, you can have a bluish background in a wood, can't you? So all I'm doing is just very carefully going over here and just colouring this in. Now, the only thing I don't like particularly about the Stabilo highlighters is they do tend to come out very streaky. But then again, I mean, for this, it doesn't matter. This is just a colouring example. But yeah, they do come out streaky. Certainly, it depends on which kind of paper you're using them on as well. Now, this paper, as we know, is only printed on, this page is just like cheap Amazon paper. So what I'm going to be colouring on, or what I am colouring on, is fairly cheap. So it's not going to lay down particularly great. But I just want to try and, I suppose, learn how to do these more than anything. And as I say, these pens are fairly inexpensive if you live in the UK and you want to use them for your artworks. Oops. You can get these anywhere. Like, I was going to actually say WH Smith's, but now I think our WH Smith's in England is officially like non-existent unless you're lucky enough to go on holiday and you go to the airport, and then I think there might still be some shops there for you to get your art stuff from. You know, maybe if you've got a little child with you and you're hopping on a plane and you want to give them something to do, you know, you might buy them a set of cheap pens to play with, and, you know, get them a colouring magazine or activity book. I don't know. I do know that there are still some WH Smith shops available at airports, but mostly I would say now we've got... What kind of shops have we got in the UK for this kind of thing? I suppose like your supermarkets would stock them, or your Poundlands occasionally, or TJ Hughes, which I think has kind of overtaken what used to be WH Smith's, places like that. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. So we've got a background. Yes, it's a slightly different colour to what they've done, but it's the best that I'm going to be able to come up with at this time. And as you can see, it does bleed through, but it's just an activity book. So to me, it doesn't, well, activity book, you know what I mean, colouring book. So I've got the background. Now I need to do here, the trees. How I'm going to do that is going to be very interesting. I'm probably going to use a combination. I'm probably going to get this one out. Now this is my Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir. If you know these pens, you'll know. And I'm going to go for this mid-tone here. I think that's the best one because we don't want it too dark. But as I say, this paper has a tendency to make every colour much darker than it actually is. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to add a tree. Excuse me. And I'm going to go down and then add another little branch off it. A bit smaller, a bit like they've done, and then back. And then I'm just going to do two. I'm going to do another one up there. And, whoops, let me move those out of the way. And then back. And then here, I think we are to colour this in. So very loosely just colouring down here. I'm sorry about being pushed for space. I'm working on quite a small desk, so it's not the best if you're trying to colour stuff in. Yeah, not the best, but anyway. We've got the trunk there. I think that looks like a trunk, sort of. Maybe it needed a bit more of a chunky bit there. There we go. So we've got a trunk in place, and then we've got this other bit for another tree. I'm not going to do a trunk with this one. I'm going to try and keep quite... the only thing is I am noticing it ripping up some of the paper. See? A little bit. That's not very good. Anyway, I best not go over it too much. Just going to brush that off. So we've got what looks like a tree. Whoops! And then another tree next to it. So they kind of form the background, and then here it said add more trunks with a darker shade. So I can go over the top of these, as they've done there, with a darker, slightly maybe darker shade. So I'll pick this other pen. This is more of your kind of mid green, moss greens maybe. Hoping this comes out darker. I'm going to put my other tree here, and I'm going to make it a bit more wavy and all over the place like you'd get a tree, and let it overlap that. And then, oops, put another little bit on there, and then maybe another tree next to it, going up, straight up like that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll colour these in. It's quite hard for me to see on camera. Not on camera, but from where I'm sat. But yeah, I'm going to colour that in. So hopefully we've got something that resembles a tree here. And then I'll add in another branch on top. And then maybe a branch here going off at the side. Do you think? They've kind of done something very similar with theirs, so that kind of looks a bit more like a branch going off at the side, and then one going up here. I'll try and get this bit a bit more. That doesn't look quite right, does it? See, this is what I do. I mess around with a lot of my work. If I find things I don't like, it's particularly why I don't do a lot of on camera, like particularly why I don't like to show a lot on camera, because I'm not very good at actually doing things on camera, and I also get very camera shy, especially if I'm thinking that someone's watching me and expecting to see some kind of Picasso. You're probably not going to be able to see that with me, unfortunately. So that's a couple more trees drawn. So that's kind of similar. You can see where this is going at this point. I think it's pretty easy to see. But yeah, it's a bit patchy because of the paper, and the paper is very, very thin. But I'm just gonna keep going with it. Now they've done a much more greyish green here, so I think I've got a botanic. It says it's a botanical green. So I'm gonna go in for this, and I'm gonna do a big tree here going off here, and then a big branch going off there, and then the tree going here, and then back round again, and then I'm going to fill that in. This is just to see what we can't get to work. See if that works. Just make that a bit more come across there a little bit easier. Then yes, you might want a few bits of like grass. So what they've done is added some little grass texture at the bottom, which I've done there, and then maybe some big grass like that, kind of maybe connect it so it looks like a clump of grass, yeah, like that. And then over here we've got another rather large branch going down to the very bottom. I suppose you still want that bit of tree behind it to show, and then when you've done that, kind of make it go up there, and then colour all that in. Hopefully this isn't too boring for anyone watching. I mean, I'm not sure, I just thought I'd do it on camera because I really didn't have much else to do this afternoon. I got all the jobs done, so I thought I'd just come on and give it a quick whirl, see what we got, see what we get out of it, see if I'm any good at actually doing a, well, semi-live stream, well, semi-live stream, but whatever you call them. I've coloured in the tree, so that's quite good. So yeah, that's what we've got. So I would say that's quite successful. Oh, and also they've done a bit more shading to the edges. So what I'll use for that, I think, is a green, I'm thinking like a green Sharpie. That would kind of work, because yeah, green Sharpie. I think that will go down. Or I could actually use a one of my, let me see. I don't want to do too much on this page because I've got a feeling the paper's very close to tearing. But we'll carry on. I might have, I'm sorry about the rattling. I might have a no, I don't think it's gonna work. Hang on a minute. Just finding a pen here that would. Oh, I guess also I could use see, you could use anything like this. I'll use my Posca. I haven't used this for a bit, but these are just the big uni Posca it says English green. Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go in with this and add the where they've done like the dark bits. So I suppose sometimes you have to, oh, that's not good. If you've just seen what I've just seen, it's not good. It's just managed to put a big blob, because you have to press them down a lot. All right, let's just, if you've got, this is another thing. If you have, you always need, I always suggest that people have like, to have just some cheap kitchen roll at the side, so that if you do get any unfortunate accidents, you can just whip it up on there. Oh god, I've gone splodged and smudged everything. This is why I don't film. This is why I don't do much live filming, let's say, because I'm not very good at it. So yeah, I'm just going up at the side of the tree, a bit down here. Okay, you see, to me that is not showing up as I wanted, so I'm not going to use that pen anymore. I'm just going to I'm gonna see what else I could use on this. Let's just see. I think at this point it's really the case of going in with a nice dark, well, a darkest Sharpie that I can, which is this one. It's quite dark green, and it should work for the rest of it. And I'll go up here at the side, try and ignore that it's taken off a lot of the paper, and then add on like your bits of shadowing if you wanted. We get bits of shadowing here, especially where, you know, the trunk meets the other parts, a bit of shadowing, and just see what you kind of come up with. I think that Posca pen was definitely not the right to have tried. But there we go. And the last thing it suggests you to do is to add some white highlights with a pen. And I've got my lovely highlighter. Because I don't organise. Usually when I'm doing these videos, I don't organise it because I think, well, I've got everything to hand, so if I need anything, it's just there. But then, when you actually go to getting the thing you want on camera, the pen or whatever, you realise it isn't just there like you thought it was. It's everywhere but where you thought it was. So you have to, go through all your stuff. It's terrible. Never meant for this job, me. So anyway, it says add highlights. So for this one, well, for what they've done here for this tree in the background, we're just going to go along and add a little bit of highlights just about there. This one is a good one because we can use the branch to highlight there. Just highlight against that branch. Put a few little things there and more highlights there. And again, where the branch meets the other one, highlight for that. That's already it's kind of seeming to absorb a lot of the colour, but I guess that happens. These pens aren't the best. They're quite cheap acrylic pens, so I gather if you had something a little bit more expensive, you wouldn't probably get that effect as much. But I think if I just keep on going over it, it gets better. And then in the grasses as well, add a few more highlights just to the grass, make the grass stand out. And up here for the tree, or the trees, shall we say, the trees, because there's plenty of trees in the wood. There we go. So, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that overall. I didn't think I would be. It worked out. It's not worked out as perfect as I wanted it, but you kind of get the idea of what to do and what I'm going to try and do now, because I said that other page did go really badly wrong. But following that technique, I think I've got something that kind of resembles. I think I need to get better at it, definitely. I don't know if you can see. I definitely need to get better at that. But we've got something that kind of resembles a woodland effect there. Something anyway, not perfect, but something. Okay, so I guess after doing that one, we'll try and do a moonlit sky. How on earth this is going to work, I do not know. But I'm going to have a go on camera because I've not much else to do, as I say. So, I just thought I'd come on and give it a go. And so far, so good. I'm sorry about the rattling around in the drawer, finding the pen. Okay, so colour the base from light in the centre to darker at the edges, leaving an empty circle in the middle. So what we'll do, they've done it, yeah, so by the looks of things, they've done it with, so we need a pink. Again, I think I'm going to have this problem with the pen not being exact as it should be, but I'll go for a very pale pink tricolour Spectrum Noir here, and we'll just continue and see what we can't do or can do. So first of all, first problem, making a circle on camera that actually looks like a circle, because I can tell you I am not good at doing that. Okay, about a semi-ish circle. Might need a bit of maintenance, but it's not perfect, but I'm just testing these out as I go and just seeing what I can do with them. I would say that that's pretty good as a sort of semi-ish circle, and the pink is actually the right colour, if you see that. So that works. That's a good, that was the lightest one. So there we go. That's the lightest one. You see how sometimes the ink, because I think it's alcohol, it kind of makes the ink on there, it smudges the ink around. I don't like that. But and then we've got a much darker pink around what we've done there. So I'm going to get this one and I'm going to do that around the lighter pink so that we can, just going to have to turn it around a moment, I can't get to it properly. So yeah, I'm hopeful I'm catching all this on camera, but if I don't, I apologise for that. It's very hard with quite a small desk. Well, I've got quite a small desk, and to work around that and get it on camera at the same time is pretty difficult. I'm just trying to shade it out so it looks like it tells me on the thing. So here we go. It's not perfect. It's not the best circle you've ever, hand-drawn circle you've ever seen, but it is a circle. And then we go out from that to more of a pale, it's more like a lilac. So the best I can come up with that I have is probably this. It says it's a bright pink blend. Now, I'm not sure. Let me just see. Well, I'll just use this test. Oh no, that is quite bright. That's quite a bright pink. I don't think we will use that one. I will use a different colour entirely. I wonder if I have anything in my... I've got these ones here. I wonder if I have... Oh, I've got a Sharpie here that's a little bit more like... But you see, that's quite dark. To me, that looks darker. You see how that doesn't look anything like that because of the paper? The paper seems to absorb a lot of the lightness from the pen when it's not a very good one. I don't want it to be too dark. Now, I'll try this again. The good old Spectrum Noirs. These are absolutely one of my favourite pens. I'll do this mid-tone because I think that's going to be the best I can get to it. Oh no, that's quite dark. Okay, I'll try the lightest one. There we go. That's as close as I'm going to get. So then I'll do another outer ring of that around this. Oop. And don't worry if it goes off the side because that's I'm not good at, you know, do you ever find you have to move the page to get into certain areas or get your hand to maybe work the way it should do with a certain angle, kind of moving the body with it? Just trying to get that right. And then go down. We might have a dead pen in our hands here. I'm colouring this in and I'm actually thinking this pen is about to bite the dust. That's not very good. Oh, okay. I thought this would be okay to use. I might need to buy some more of these. I've gone through a lot of pens recently. In the past, I would say month, I must have used up, I would say, a good 50% of what I have at the side of me, and certainly with these Spectrum Noir tricolour pens, they are a very favourite go-to of mine, but they get used up very, very fast. I think if I close that, I just try and... Sometimes what works is if you go over it a few times very, very fast, so like I'm doing here, then rather than getting a streaky faintness, you get a bit more pen in there. So you see, getting a bit more of it, because that is really on its last legs. I don't expect this to last much longer. Yeah, that's it. So we've got a nice shadow around the area, and now we'll fill it in with, and I think I'm gonna do this this one, I'm filling all the way across and around this with that. And it is just as easy as kind of going on there and just kind of following a circle around, isn't it, really? It's like drawing a circle but following, you know, it's a very, very simple thing to do, but it's not something that you necessarily think of doing at the time. This is why I like these. They're very simple, so I can follow them, well, just about. And they're very easy. They're very, very easy to pick up. And it's great for a book, like particularly her books. Even, I suppose, for any book that you do. This is quite a good technique. I've gone a bit off there, haven't I? Need to kind of put that round. Okay, and then finally we can add trees. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the Sharpie. And I shall do, no, I won't do that because I think that was that colour. Yeah, sorry, that was that colour. So what I will do is I'll go back to another Sharpie that I know will come out stronger, and I'll probably pick I'm just looking at my chart. Probably pick, yeah, I'm thinking. I don't have a lot of Sharpies left either. Right, I've got one. And then I'll go in with this to do some very simplistic tree shapes. Down there. And then just put that at the side of the window as if it's kind of going off. As if you're looking through the window, you wouldn't see all the tree anyway. And let's see how I have just gone for that very simplistic tree style, but I think because it's quite cheap paper, it's kind of getting that blurring bleeding effect at the bottom, the end of it, but that's okay. And we'll do another one there. Da, 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 da. But yeah, it does begin to bleed a lot because this is not the best. This is probably not the best paper to be trying to do a tutorial with. Well, I say a tutorial, but I'm actually following this and you're just watching me make a complete mess of it. Oh, okay, well, there we go, I suppose. But it shows you can do it with any kind of pen you want. Sharpies or Spectrum Noirs or whatever you have, really, whatever you have to hand. But you can do that kind of style and you can follow the tutorials. Now it says add highlight air. So it doesn't actually say full colour with 2 shades of grey to create the moon. Okay, with 2 shades of grey to create the moon. It doesn't actually say how. I guess it means that you've got to kind of use your own interpretation here. Ooh, that's too dark. See how some of these pens, they come out so much darker than they actually are. And it's really annoying then to get that differentiation between. You could alternatively, if you wanted to do your own thing, you could get your metallic Sharpie and just go, oh sorry, I'm going to do a metallic Sharpie around in the very centre. Of course, then you might not be able to put your Santa over the top, but I wasn't really going to do a Santa over the top of this. And if I was doing a Christmas type colouring, then I guess you might want to put a Santa over it, but even that Sharpie's come out quite dark. Let me see. I'm going to add some, I'm sorry for the wobbling of the camera. I'm going to add a few of my own stars here and there around it. But because I say that's quite a cheap marker, so they're not going to really show up. So I'm now looking in my drawer and I'm going to take another shot, I think I might have a Posca, a white Posca unit here. Which, no, I don't appear to have one. I had one the other day, but now it's gone. It's a story of my life. Maybe I actually used that one up. Did I use that one up? Oh, I might have used that one up actually. I'm telling you a lie. I'm telling you a lie. I have not got it. It is not here. I apologise for all the rattling around, but I do not have it. So I would say that, yeah, if you have something a bit better, I suppose that's not a very good tutorial, is it? I should really have had that at the ready. But you can see what you can do if you follow. It's really, yeah, overall it's really good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what I've come out with so far. I just wish I'd had a proper white pen to show how you could put the stars, and it might have looked better, but that's okay. Overall the paper's very thin, so it's going to bleed through. You definitely need a piece of paper at the back, and even then I've got a few little marks on there. This one's a very nice one if you ever wanted to draw a like a window and maybe a cityscape. That would be really nice. There's some stones. The stones here will be another really good way to oops, excuse me, to do that. I might actually have a go. And do this one. I rather fancy that. Draw regular shapes with a pencil, fill in the base. So yeah, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to do that separate. And I just wanted to film this to show you what you can do in these books. And yeah, so we've made a bit of progress there. I'm sorry about all the rattling around of the pens and the pencils and oh my god, but that's the book I've got. So I'm hopeful that will help me in some future colouring pages in Little Corner, and also a few of my other Coco Wyo books that I have currently on the shelf. So sorry that's a bit boring, not as well didn't go as well as I intended it to go, but at least it's showing you what I can do with that. So let me know if you'd like to see more tutorial videos, which I can actually do a lot better, or whether you prefer to just see flip throughs of completed pages, which to be honest I wouldn't blame you about. Anyway, yeah, okay, bye.